cues and really be aware of how you relate or react to some of the things I say, because some of them are going to be just, how does that move you, or what does that mean for you? But I'm not going to be obviously showing you how to move, and you're going to be trusting your own body cues for this. But from my point of view, I just want to make sure I've got my notes in front of me, that this is really about rest, recuperation, reconnection. And I think it's been a difficult time for us on many levels worldwide. We've talked many times about the COVID. And of course, we've had this election in the United States, which caused tremendous stress for the whole United States, regardless of who one was voting for. And now they're saying we're going through a second wave. I know that UK went on lockdown, and France is thinking of it, and Italy and Spain. So it's like it never ends. We're constantly being bombarded, which means probably, for the most part, most of us are in that old brain, which is fight, flight, or freeze. And that's just what happens. That's what happens physiologically. So my intent tonight is to help us move into the parasympathetic nervous system. And that's where we have a chance to rest and recuperate and digest. So that's really my intent for tonight. And I know we said we would work on what we're hoping to happen with the group moving on. But from my point of view, there's no way of moving on until we can be with ourselves and connected with ourselves, and whatever that means. So does that make sense to people? Any comments, questions, reactions before we start to do some of the movement?
This is where I'm at. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know what that means, but you're welcome. I've learned, it's interesting. How when I grew up, you learned please, thank you, you're welcome. And nowadays, the young kids, I don't mean like 12 and 13, I mean people that are, let's say, in their early 20s, if you say thank you, they say no problem. And I don't know what that means. No problem that you did a service for me and I'm thanking you for it. I've not been a problem. It's really interesting. But the younger people, I've never heard them say you're welcome. And it's interesting because I know all the traveling I did, and I did a huge amount of traveling in my early 20s and continuing. I always learned please, thank you, and where is, and how much in every language of every country I was in. Oh, I also learned too much when I was bargaining. You know what I mean? But you always learn please, thank you, you're welcome. It's interesting. Just a thought.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
In Japanese, we don't really say you're welcome, I think. Yeah, so when someone says thank you, I think we tend to say it's all right. There are many ways to respond to thank you, but I think we don't really have this response of saying we are welcome.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting because in many countries too, it's a bow. And there was a whole meditation on bowing and how important it was. And because it really means that you are honoring the person that you're with. And, with namaste, the spirit in me sees the spirit in you, or the God in me sees the God in you. And when I went to India and I was on an ashram, and everyone was bowing down to the guru, and I said, why are they doing that? I'm not going to bow down like this is a God. This person is a guru, and I'm going to learn from them. And they said, oh, you don't understand. You're bowing down to yourself. And that was very profound for me because I never heard that before. And then I did, and then I felt good. Anyway. All right, folks, let's get ready to move. So for a minute, do what you need to do. I'm going to stand up, and I'm hoping that I don't lose my focus for all of you. Because I'm in a very small space here. But if you want to stand up a little bit and allow yourself to just shake out, move a little bit, get into your joints so that you can begin to be present for any movement that might happen. Do anything that you need to do get your physical body ready to move. And as I talk to you, you don't have to stop moving. Just be allowing the energy to flow through you in any way that it needs to. And one of the things I'm going to suggest to you now is to remove the mask that all of us have to wear. And literally the physical mask, we wear it here. I wear it all day because I work and I have to wear it all day. But I realize how symbolic that is. So I'm going to ask you now, as you're warming yourself up and just becoming, attending to whatever your physical body needs, allow yourself to imagine you're removing that mask that we all wear to keep us safe from COVID. But as you remove the mask, allow it to become the mask that's keeping you safe from your own being, from whatever it might be. And for me, when I did this, when it came to me, I realized I was removing darkness. For some reason, when I removed my mask, I was letting go of darkness, and that means I'm letting in light. I'm letting in light, and I'm letting in lighter energy. So it was twofold for me. So when you remove your mask, it may be protecting you from something that you don't need protection from, or it may be that you can find a way to engage your being at a different level so that you're not protecting at that level. So just take a moment and remove your mask and see what you're removing. And when you remove it, what are you letting in? And whatever we do, you'll just allow yourself to continue moving because the movement connects by itself. You don't have to do anything with the brain to make that happen. The movement is the energy flowing through you. And as Dr. Valerie Hunt has always said, the healthy body is a moving body. The energy flows without blockage, without stoppage. So we're allowing that to happen for ourselves in any way that's right for us, and there's no right or wrong. So you remove your mask. As I said, for me, I'm removing heaviness, letting in light. And that's going to be kind of there for me for a while. And I'm going to ask you now, in your own time when it feels right, to begin to take those deep breaths that start way down in the belly or down by the root chakra and goes all the way up your torso and out the top of your head so that you open up your crown chakra. And in that breath, you're beginning to stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, the vagus nerve. And as you exhale, release all the toxins that might be there in your field, in your body. Just let them go, push them out as you exhale, and do that 3 or 4 times on your own. And know that in that breath, in that deep, long breath that comes through the whole vertical, you're not only stimulating all of your chakras, all of your energy centers, but you're allowing the vagus nerve to be connected for you at a very profound level, which allows us to go into our parasympathetic nervous system. And it allows us to move from that fight, flight, or freeze place. So just allowing that to happen. And as you begin to sense that sudden change, there will be a change in the way you experience that energy. And as you allow the light or the energy or the feelings of connection to come down through that crown chakra, they wake up all of your different energy centers, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the belly, the root. And so we're allowing ourselves now, because we're in this new state, to connect and communicate to the deepest part of our essence, the deepest part of our physical self that begins to move out into the more ephemeral, metaphysical, spiritual selves. But it's all connected. There might be something very physical you need to do, and it's very real, and it's very close to your body. And then you feel an urge, maybe from your throat chakra, and it opens you up to something else. There could be a feeling, an energy, it could be a color, but there's no right or wrong. So playing with that now in your own time, in your own way, that breath that begins to stimulate the vagus nerve, which brings us into the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where we rest, we integrate, we recuperate, and now we begin to connect to those deeper part of ourselves. So you remove the mask. There's a part that's going to beckon to you more than another part, and that means it wants to be paid attention to. Find the movement that's there for you, and I'll be still for the next few minutes as I hold the space for you as you move through that in your own time, in your own way. Please continue to move as I speak with you. Try not to let my words interfere, but simply support what you're already doing or working on. As we stimulate all of our energy centers, that vagus nerve really is what connects us from the brain to the gut. And we go from a very physical being into a more enlightened being. As we extend outwards, our boundaries extend. We flow from all those energy centers, and there might be one or more that beckons to you. I find that occasionally one of my centers is speaking to one of the other centers, and I allow them to communicate. They each have a different energy, a different quality. It just needs to be allowed to be expressed. You might experience this at a whisper. It may be so subtle, and that's fine. It may be an urge, and that's fine. It may be a bright light, and how wonderful when that happens. It may be simply a small energy connection. For each of us, it's different, but it's paying attention so that we're expanding and extending our own being into that greater place of knowing, of healing, of enlightenment, without that mask. And so I'll be still for the next few minutes as you play with all of that. Time for your own recuperation, assimilation, connection. Continue to move as I speak with you. Play with whatever it is that is beckoning to you for another maybe 2 minutes or so, and then we're going to add something. Move on, move through. Another 2 minutes. Doesn't mean you're ending anything. You're just exploring it a bit more. Maybe there's more insight that's coming to you, and it doesn't have to come in words or thoughts or even feelings. It's a different language when we move in this way. So we have another 2 minutes, and then I'm going to add something to this, another layer, so to speak. Continue moving as I speak with you. In your own time, in the next minute or so, find a way to come to an alive, still place. It doesn't mean that you're stopping. It doesn't mean that you have to end what you're doing. It's just an alive, still place, allowing whatever you've discovered to settle, to become assimilated. The next minute or so. And in that alive, still place, the energy is still moving. You may be actually totally involved in the crown, the throat, the heart, the solar plexus, the energy center, the root. You may be in 2 or 3 of those, or you may be somewhere else entirely. That's fine. Let the energy flow through you. And just let these words come to you in any way they come. It might be 1 or 2 words that stick, and that will be added to whatever you're doing for the next few minutes. So let the words come to you. You don't have to intellectualize it, don't have to do anything to it. It's just going to be like shooting stars if you were a new galaxy. If you feel like you don't fit in this world, it's because you are here to help create a new one. If you feel like you don't fit in this world, it's because you are here to help create a new one. Just allow those words to come in, whatever part of the sentence, whatever it means to whatever you're doing, it will do something. It will stimulate, it will coat, it will extend. And it may be nothing for you and you just let it go. If you don't feel like you don't fit in this world, it's because you are here to help create a new one. And taking a moment to see where those words want to go, how they want to become part of your own field. And here are one more set of words. They might get jumbled up with the others, and that's okay. Because we're in a place now where we're creating a different vocabulary. There is no map for what we do. We're creating this ourselves. And these other words are, I am good enough. And good enough is more than enough. I am good enough. And good enough is more than enough. That may join with the other group of words. They may get jumbled. They may rain down on you. You may separate them. They may fit you like a cloak in some way. You may let them go. As I say, they're like shooting stars. So continuing whatever you need to do on this own journey of connection, assimilation, rest, recuperation, allowing ourselves to leave, fight, flight, or freeze. So about another 3 or 4 minutes to explore without any judgment. It is what it is. Letting the energy flow through you. Letting the energy flow from you. So about another minute or so to complete the exploration. Maybe it's the extension of your very being. Maybe it's the waking up. Maybe it's the letting go. Whatever it might be, about another minute before we come to resolution and closure. About another minute. And very gradually, as we move towards this resolution and closure, we are connecting with our own being, the core, in a different way, because we've gone somewhere that we've probably never been before. Or if we have been, we have some new insight for it. And we have to very slowly allow ourselves, our core, our being, our essence to come to calmness. Allow it to assimilate, knowing that our boundaries have been extended. You need to find a new balance in some way. Whenever we move in this way, we are changing the fulcrum of our being. And it needs to be honored and cared for and appreciated that we can do this and that you've done it. So you need to bring it all to some kind of stillness where you take your own time space to connect it back to your being. Just being in your own time and space. Maeve, when you have a moment, if you could put the image up for me, please, without interrupting your own flow, best you can. There's going to be an image now on your apparatus. Just take it in in any way that's right for you. For me, this image in a way represents our core, our extension out into a larger frame, a larger universe, that there's something very concrete at our center, but as we extend out, something changes, the energy changes, it shifts. And just allow that image to come in some way, just permeate you in any way that's right or wrong for you. I mean, there's no right or wrong, but it could be not for you. That's fine. It spoke to me and it spoke to this experience. It may be something there that there's light, brightness, there's different colors, there's the concreteness, there's the hills and the valleys, there's the ephemeral, there's lots of things that we may have experienced in this short experience. Just take it in any way that you may. And see if any of it speaks to you, and just use it as you may. And with all that you experienced, having released, taken off the mask, and explored, allowing us to be in the parasympathetic nervous system, allowing that vagus nerve to lead us in some way, I'm going to ask you now to put on a cloak of hope, trust, belief, and love. We've taken off the mask, and now let's put on our cloak of hope, trust, belief, and love. And Maeve, we can take the image off now. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. So if anybody would like to share a few words of what they explored or experienced, just a few words, just to sum it for yourself. I mean, if I was to say something, and though I was leading it, I still had the movement flowing through me. It was a sense of peace and calmness that I haven't felt for a long time. So just summing up in some way your experience, if you feel like it.
For me, the initial was relief to take the mask off, and that led to a feeling of allowing flow, allowing support, nurturing, and then the honoring of self.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. And you know, when we speak our words, we're actually speaking for everybody because we've all had very similar experiences. Somebody, sorry, who was talking?
Oh, hi, Marcia. This is Eleonora. For me, it was very, very freeing. I
Hi,
really loved the words that you gave us, that you were speaking about finding connections within, and you know, allowing the discovery to happen. And I also really paid it, you know, connected to your words about you know, being good enough, being good, you know,
Yeah.
because I think that it can happen for me. Sometimes I'm overcritical, you know, of myself. And so I think that was a beautiful sharing of suggestive words. And also the last piece that you shared was that photo, which to me really was reflected, you know, in more ways than one, our stability, our strength, and the tangible and the ephemeral, and then the reflection in the water to me represented others, that we are reflections of each other, that we all have this. We have the tangible, we have the ephemeral, and that the word play was very, very vibrant. You know, when you spoke the word play in my mind, and discovery. So I really loved it. Loved the whole experience. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome. Yeah, the affirmation, I am good enough and good enough is more than enough. That was very clear to me because, you know, we always hear good enough and it always feels like something's left out. And I thought, no, good enough is more than good enough. And we never think that. Well, I'm good enough. It's like, no, but it's more than, you are more than enough being good enough. Anyway, thanks, Eleanor. I appreciate the words.
I'm happy to share this time.
Is someone going or?
Go ahead, Dominique.
Okay. The whole voyage spoke to me so deeply. Thank you. From your first words and from the experience of bowing to the guru, like everything, it was amazing. Once we connected to the energy, I was through clouds, through the fog, and with that energy, I was lifting the clouds, I was parting them. And then I realized I didn't have to do that. I could just, with directness, cut through my path. I didn't have to lift it for everybody. And then that energy moved and I went through a dance of real connectedness to the earth, to the sky through me. It's really powerful. And I realized that this new world that we're creating, I'm not having to do it by myself. And it's such relief in those words. Yeah, it's such a activating, letting go. The mask was the safest. So letting the flow and letting it be the way it is, be with it, is the way to move forward. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dominique. And I love what you said about, yeah, you don't have to do it yourself. There is a connection. There, we are connected. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a nice revelation. Okay.
For me, it was re-energizing. I had to, not I had to, but I started reading a bit more. So all the connections I think about dance and culture and race, I've been reading a lot. So I want to continue with that study. And I keep thinking, oh, you know, I should have done a PhD, I should have done this, I should have done that. And I said, no, I did it the way I felt comfortable. So, yeah, and I just want to go back into more academic stuff. And it just made me push off all my concerns about being too old, or, you know, coming from a left field, or, you know, coming in with a new idea or a new approach and not being accepted or thought of having any, you know, value or
Teresa,
yeah,
did you hear the words? If you feel like you don't fit in this world, it's because you're here to create a new one.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
And the other thing, and you know, no one can ever talk to me about being too old, because you
Yeah.
know, I'm the one that says, you know, it's not over till it's over, and you never talk about your age, because the age is, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, I know, but
It labels you.
yeah, because that's what I was.
No, I get it. Yeah.
That's what I was pushing.
No,
you know, and like,
of course. Yeah.
I can continue with
Yeah.
my reading. I can, you know, hook up with people who
Absolutely.
are like-minded and, you know, write something, and
Yep.
you know, so yeah, so it was like I had to push all that crap away.
Well, the power of the way we can move this way. And I've really done so much thinking about this, and more lately as well, because there's so many people doing dance
Yeah.
now on Zoom. This is not dance. The roots of this come from dance.
Yeah.
But this is something more, even more precious.
Mhm.
The dance is what sustains us and allows us to know joy that happens in this release and rhythm. But this is something beyond. And what happens is you find your true essence, whatever it might be. And it doesn't matter how long it takes. It's your true essence evolving. It's very powerful, and it's beyond just meditation. Meditation alone doesn't do it, but it certainly takes us to that place. It's integrating so many things, and it's beyond movement, you know, like gym movement, exercise movement.
Yeah.
That's why I said we're creating our own vocabulary.
Yeah.
And it's the power is extraordinary. The power is extraordinary. Yeah.
What I found very interesting, of course, like I was hooked on watching everything about the election, and what was so interesting is that people were dancing in the street.
Mhm.
And I thought, that's it. You know, so that was, you know, really, you know, that was really exciting. People
There's-
dancing in the street.
Yeah, there's something that happens, a joyful expression. This is something even beyond that.
Yeah.
This is something beyond that, taking us to greater knowing, greater knowledge, greater extension of self.
Yeah. That's
Because we're working at a cellular level.
Yeah.
That's what's happening, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. And that's
Yeah.
what I was seeing. I was seeing that it didn't matter if you were young, old, male or female, a child, an adult, Black, white, Hispanic, Latino, Chinese, whatever, Native American, everybody was moving. And they were moving to their own rhythm. And it didn't have to, you know, it wasn't
Yeah.
like you had to move in uniformity, even though I feel sometimes that's really good to move in uniformity. But this was a
Well,
spontaneous.
I don't want,
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
I'm going crazy.
I just don't want to get sidetracked. I want people to have a
Yeah,
chance
sorry.
to, you know,
Yeah,
express what they experience. Yeah.
That's
But
me.
thank
That's
you. I
me.
appreciate that. Yeah,
Right,
for sure. Yeah. No, it's fine.
I apologize. No,
Don't apologize. It's fine. It's
It was
fine.
beautiful.
It's very enlightening for all of us. Does anybody else want to share?
Well,
Because if not, we're going to have to talk a
me,
minute or two about the theme. What?
I was just going to say, I found myself yawning a lot to begin with, that it was like taking in, giving out, and then those words you spoke, Marcia, I found them quite thrilling. it just sent this thrill through my body. And I've heard those words a lot in the last few days, you know, in regard to you can't change an old paradigm, so create your own and others will join you. So it was really interesting that, you know, you said those words too. So yeah, that's neat.
Thank you. I didn't mean to disturb you to put up the image. I appreciate you doing that for me.
Thank you, Marcia. When I start, I feel a very energy and very powerful. And then I find very stillness. First, I afraid I become powerless, but it's very relaxed, very deep relaxed. And I found I'm very very stressful and very guarded, but in the movement, I really feel very deep, relaxed. It's very comfortable and very reliable. Thank you, Marcia.
Yeah,
It's very good experience.
thank you. Thank you, Tomoko, for sharing. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Thank you all for participating because it was wonderful and I could see pretty much mostly, even though I'm on my iPad, I had mostly on screen without too much adjustment, too much of the time. It was great. Yeah.
May I add something to what I said before? Or see, I think that another point that I want to make is that you were encouraging us to explore all the body energy centers, and you know, regardless of, you know, where they are in the body, and this, you know, there's just the diversity. I kept thinking about diversity. You know, that's a word that we hear a lot in politics and all over the place. But the idea of diversity within ourselves, you know, and knowing our own diversity of body energy and how that feels in the body is, you know, and then exploring the relationships between each one and not judging each one, but just accepting them and being more in tune with them, I think is really the, you know, how we could all live in a world of diversity. You know, if we can accept it within ourselves, we can accept it, accept the diversity that surrounds us. And
Yeah.
and I thought that, you know, I hear the word neurodiversity a lot.
Yeah.
And I can really relate to that. I think dance therapy offers, can, you know, just reaffirm that perspective on diversity. And so that we can live more harmoniously in this world, instead of judging each other and putting each other down, you know. If we could accept our own shortcomings or whatever, not feeling good enough, like I said before, that sometimes rings true for me. You know, we can do that with each other. So I want to add that.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you. An interesting point, be something really to explore. Connecting with the energy centers and, yeah, somehow bringing them out to the world. Yeah. Thank you, Eleanor. Well, I think, you know, apparently based on the last time we met tonight, we were going to talk about how one wants the group to, if they want to continue, how often, in what form. That was going to be what we discussed, and we don't have that much time left. So I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts about that?
I would like to be able to connect with some people like Eleanor. I'd like to get in touch with you after, you know, like during the week before we have meetings.
Oh, yes.
Just to talk about ideas and you know, you talk about diversity and just connect with people who you might have like-minded interests, and maybe, I don't know, maybe present a small paper or presentation or something like that. I don't know. I'm just throwing that out in the mix.
It's a great idea.
So
Thank you.
having some kind of opportunity to have like smaller groups in a way, or people that stimulate something and maybe meeting in a different way with each other in some way and doing something.
Yeah. But still meeting, you know, like this.
Mhm. I'm all for that. I'm all for that.
Okay.
Yes, definitely. I like the idea of maybe instead of every week, you know, just for time's sake, you know, it might be best to do it like every other or every, you know,
Yep.
rather than once a week, maybe every other week or the first, whatever, second Tuesday or whatever of the month, you know,
Yeah.
something along those lines. Uh-huh. I
Yeah.
would be all for that. I would be all for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Because then if people want to connect with, you know, one other person or two other people, you know, maybe they can think of something they can present, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah, I feel it should be like every 2 or 3 weeks as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think once a month is not enough, but maybe
Yeah.
every 3 weeks. And then somebody comes up with a theme and presents or something, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
From today's session, it feels like it's good if the session have a part that actually resourcing ourselves, because we tend to work with others and not always take that time. So, you know, it doesn't have to be the whole session, but a part of it, some sort of exploration to really reconnect in ourselves, I think is great.
So maybe two things. There's a theme, but there's also the first part maybe is just reconnecting with self, recuperation, whatever it might be, moving for self, and then developing it into some other kind of theme.
You're muted, Judith.
Oh.
I'm sorry, what? Somebody said what?
Judith's trying to speak, but she's muted.
I'm sitting here feeling really as if I don't know what to do. But one thing that I did realise is that I know very little about how people are practicing, and I felt that the moving for self is very important at the moment, but that I'd be also really interested to hear about other people's experience with other groups, if that was part of the meeting. I've written down really, the first question is, what am I prepared to contribute? And my circumstances are at the moment that I'm a bit, well, very frustrated in terms of not being able to find people to work with. So I would like very much to be able to try some, you know, just basic skills in terms of group process or group dance therapy processes, but that's just what I'm thinking. Any thoughts from anybody?
I'm not too clear about what you mean. Do you mean somebody conduct a movement session?
I suppose it's the people who participate, it's really up to them to decide. I feel like a lot of things that have been said already, we've already been doing, and we've already been doing. Sorry, hello?
Yes.
Still being heard. Okay, so I just wondered how other people are feeling in terms of their own a future direction, or what is this, a sense of hope with people. It's very hard I find it very hard to sit in a sort of isolated space and really not know without speaking, without somebody saying something. Are people feeling optimistic? Are people feeling vital? Because I'm not feeling vital at all.
I think that, yes, Judith, I hear what you're saying. I think that this pandemic is putting a lot of restrictions on what we can do. And, you know, as far as working with people face to face, and it's just putting a lot of limitations. But I think that, I mean, for myself, I feel that the sessions that I attended with everyone here has been very helpful in that I hear everyone's different, you know, perspective on dance therapy process for them, how they take in what we do here together. And, you know, it's been good for me. It's not quite the same as doing dance therapy, you know, one-on-one or in a group,
Yeah.
but it certainly is fueling. I mean, it's fueling my inner inside, you know, as far as the work goes. And it's good. It's kind of sustaining. It feels sustaining. Yeah. So, I mean, even though it's not what I would like, but I still, you know, I'm trying to just go with the flow, with the flow.
Yeah.
That we do have, even though it's, you know, online flow.
Yeah.
It's still.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I agree. The image I had when you were speaking, Eleanor, was really of the heart, and just allowing another opening into the heart, and obviously what's been missing is a terrible connection. I don't know if you're hearing me, because I'm getting a lot of feedback here.
Yeah, we're getting feedback too.
Feedback. Yeah, and I think Marcia has been trying to get through, and I've not been able to hear her.
No, I'm fine. I've heard you. It just seems like there's several different things that people would like to do some own personal work. You've suggested that people share what they're doing in the world in terms of dance therapy. And then there could be themes just to develop further. So it's like 3 kind of different ways of working. And maybe each time could be a different one. Maybe one time we meet, it could be people sharing what they do at work. 2 or 3 people could share what they do, you know, what population they're working with and how they work.
Yeah,
and another time it could be all for self-revelation, self-development. You know, it could just, it doesn't have to be a rigid form, you know, it could, and there people are willing to share their work.
Yeah.
I find myself responding to a creative input more than anything, you know. So if it is underpinned by creativity, whether it's poetry or a beautiful image like that one today that showed us all the elements of nature which are inside of us too. I find that that's very enriching and
and it brings in the light, which is, you know, what I feel I need now. I've been trying really hard to stay with the light and stay in the light during this time. And even a couple of weeks ago, I even managed to say, okay, I'm not going to be frightened anymore. I'm going out there. I'm not going to get this COVID. You know, I don't want to listen to our Premier anymore. And I don't want to listen to Donald Trump anymore either. For exactly the opposite thing. You know, don't talk about COVID, but just to take responsibility for myself and to do my thing. And yeah, so I've been feeling much better in the last couple of weeks just by owning it, you know. And anyway, that's my perspective.
Okay, well, thanks, Fran. Yeah.
Been a few ideas. I've just written down what people have been saying. So Eleanor suggested, and Marcia sort of agreed, every 3 weeks that we meet, that we start with perhaps movement, reconnecting with self, and then moving that into a theme. Or another idea was sharing what we are doing with DMT in our own lives and work. So maybe is it an idea just to decide now to set a date for the next one, and then out of the ideas we've had, just to have reconnecting with the self, and then either moving into a theme or sharing, a few people sharing what they're doing with work? What are your thoughts?
Can I say something? I think after Fran, I wasn't sure how to respond, but I have found what you just said was really very, very assuring. And I think that, I don't know if I'm stating the obvious, that sense of going forward is demonstrated in a very real sense to me by somebody who's courageous enough to describe their own path. And I think they may not be part of the way we've learned to do that, but at this stage, I find that very, very, very helpful. I think it would be a pity, and Fran's words, that to continue with the creative input is really important, and then not be lost in well, maybe we just assume that happens anyway. But I think the emphasis on finding the light and a way to do it by being creative is worth knowing, noting. I will note it. So thanks, Fran.
I have a suggestion. Can we maybe as a point, just to follow up on what Teresa was saying, you know, to contact each other, like if we want to contact each other in addition to our meetings, then you know, I'm willing to put my contact information down, and maybe we could come up with a little contact list of everyone who's, you know, who's open to being contacted outside of this group, so that we could, you know, make those connections outside of the group, and even prepare, you know, if people wanted to, for when we do meet.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Eleanor, is this for extra sharing, like presentation or article, book, something like that?
Yeah, for anything, whether it be for sharing work that we're doing, in dance therapy, or just for, professional development, or just personal personal
Yeah.
sustenance in this time of, conflict and disease. Yeah.
Well, why don't maybe, Maeve, how could we do that? If people don't want to be on the contact list, could they just let you or Karen know? And then if people say, so in other words, anybody that
Yeah.
doesn't send something, I don't know.
So maybe if people contact Karen, if you want to be on the contact list.
Well, can we tell you, I mean, I'll just tell you now, I don't mind, do you have my contact stuff? You should have.
Yeah, Karen's probably got it all.
Okay.
The admin, so she'd have, yeah.
See, since Karen has it all, to make it simpler, anybody who does not want to be contacted by other people in the group, just say, please do not give my contact information to the group. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. That's good.
That would be easier than everyone saying I can be contacted. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Since Karen has everybody's number, yeah.
Sorry, just double checking. So my understanding is, I think this group would remain open to suggestions, ideas from each of us. What we're gonna do, about what we're gonna do, how we want to develop this group. But the other group, which might be formed with fewer numbers of participants, would be more academic. Is that correct?
It can be. I mean, you're just finding people that maybe have like-minded interests. I'm not trying to segregate anybody. I'm not trying to make the group split and then, you go off into your own little hubs. What I'm just saying is that if you find somebody who you have a common interest in some aspect of dance therapy, whether it be academic or whether it be physically doing, just to get to know each other a bit more, rather than once a week or once every 3 weeks. So, just to broaden everybody's individual circle of dance therapy people, so that I'm not trying to be restricted or anything. You find that with, I might contact Eleanor and we might talk about something, and then we say, oh, well, maybe we can contact somebody else, or somebody can hear what we're talking about and might be interested. Okay, so it's not so restrictive. It's like being at a party and talking to people and finding people that you want to have a bit more of a conversation with, and then finding somebody else that you want to have a conversation with. I'm not being, forget it. I don't want to talk about it.
It sounds to
Well,
me
then maybe it's
having a inviting for everybody to be reaching out and taking initiative. That proposition to have other groups, it's kind of just having just saying, you can.
Well, I'm not saying you're making another group. I just would like to talk to Eleanor after hours, because we have maybe like-minded interests, and that's it. I'm not and maybe there'd be something that we have an interest in that we'd like to develop, in a more structured way. So, or we might just say, oh no, it's not going to work. Okay, but we're still friends and we still could talk and share, but we just.
Okay, listen, this is becoming too big a deal.
Yeah.
Why don't you've already said to Eleanor, I want to connect. Eleanor said, fine. So you two connect.
Yeah,
Some
exactly.
other group, that's right, period. So don't worry about a mailing list, people you're getting too involved in.
whatever. You know what? Just if something comes up at a group and you say, hey, listen, I really like that experience. Would you mind? And you say to the person, could you contact me? Here's my information. Contact me. I'd like to discuss it further with you. That's all. You know,
Yeah,
it's not a big deal,
Yeah,
period.
that's what I was trying to say, but it was just.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah. So let's set the date for our next meeting and figure out, because I personally have to go right now, guys. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. So what, 3 weeks from now?
3 weeks from now is, just got the calendar here, 1, 2, December 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a Thursday. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
that's
Thursday.
fine. No problem.
Okay. And what about a theme, or what do you want to do? Any ideas? What we want to do next time?
I'd like to try the movement warm-up, if that's okay.
You'd like to lead one?
I'd like to try the movement warm-up. Just to
Oh, she's
get
gonna
people-
lead it.
Pardon?
Are you gonna do it?
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, good. Fantastic.
Okay. No,
Right,
somebody
so
else. That's fine.
So we'll meet on,
I need the
November-
practice.
All
we'll
right.
meet
that's
on
fine.
December
Yeah.
December the 3rd at 11, and Judith will lead a warm-up.
Yeah.
You say December 3rd at 11
11,
a.m. Australian time.
sorry, 12. Sorry, I'm just
You made a
mixing myself up at 12.
Yeah.
Yeah,
12
sorry.
noon. 12 noon on December
12 noon.
3rd.
It's 5 o'clock for me and it's 8 o'clock for Eleanor.
Okay, December 2nd then.
Thank
Right?
you.
December 2nd for New York.
Yeah, that'd be yeah.
May,
I know that very well.
Yes,
May-
Marcia.
About that.
yeah, what, the general meeting is this weekend?
Saturday at 10:30 a.m.
Your
as our
Saturday.
time. Yeah.
Wait,
this
because I sent you an
Saturday.
email. It's your Saturday.
Yeah, your
right?
our Saturday, your Friday.
It's my
whatever
Friday,
time.
which means I can't be there. I'm working. It's 10
Oh,
o'clock
okay.
your time?
10:30.
What'd you say, 10? Yeah, but that would be
10:30, yeah.
3:30 my time. Yeah, I'm not home. I'm at work,
Oh,
so I won't be able to attend. And you were going to set the dates for my workshops. How long is the general meeting going to be? But I probably don't get home until about 5 or 6.
yeah, probably a couple of hours, two
Yeah.
2 hours. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'm working. But you have to let me know about the dates for the workshop, okay? So,
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
all right.
We'll sort that out.
Folks, I have to
separately.
go. Thank you all. I need to leave. I'm so sorry.
Thank you,
Thank
Marcia.
you
That was
all.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Goodbye,
Bye.
everybody. Good to
Thank
see
you,
you.
Marcia.
Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you so much.
Bye. Take care.
Hmm.